Hello my beautiful little muglets. So today we are checking out a couple new heroes that are expected to come pretty soon. I believe they've already released previews for them. I want to give my first impressions on them. It might actually be here in notices. Actually, we have Sinful Angelica, which is really exciting. But also a completely new hero, Roana, I think she is called. There are also quite a few other things planned for tomorrow's update. We got episode 2, chapter 10, Distorted Dimension. So we must be getting near the end of episode 2 already since this is chapter 10. Got another Breath of Orbis you can buy in the AP exchange shop, as well as some gear. We can check out that gear real quick. 71 crit damage set. Health speed, crit chance, crit damage. Health speed, crit chance, crit damage. Pretty solid, though if I'm not going for speed boots, then I typically am not going for speed at all. Like an Oxalot's boosted hero would have boots like this minus the speed substat, but you know, it's fine. And then we also have something called Guild War Challenge Season, which I think is just the same as normal Guild Wars with, you know, it just being the second season. There are some new features this season though. There is a draw feature, so maybe if a battle is dragged out too long, you can draw, kind of like how it was in Monster Super League. Can't believe I just said that name again. Yeah, a battle can be recorded as a draw if the battle continues for a long time. Alright, so that's interesting. Immediately when I saw the draw feature, it's like you can draw in a normal battle. If you lose one and win once, then the whole battle is a draw. But if you get a victory and a draw, like in the first battle and the second, it'll still count as a victory apparently as the battle as a whole. But 2 draws will of course end in a draw, and 1 draw, 1 defeat will end in a defeat. So yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I actually don't know how to feel about that. Like, you can just have a complete stall team since there is no challenger punishment. I guess for at least one team you can have that, and then the other team can be like your best 3 units to make sure you win. So it'd be a victory draw all the time, and then the other one's just like tank, healer, or something. So that might be kind of annoying, but we'll see how that plays out. Okay, we can also add little war plans now in that speech bubble, bottom right. Pretty cool. There will also be MVPs on the victory screen, so whoever performed the best. And you'll get some extra brave crests if you are the MVP. More customization options it looks like here, and a lot of other seemingly small things. But again, I kind of wanted to just go over the new heroes, so we're just going to skim through that. There is a new Guild War artifact though. Victorious Flag basically just increases the potency of elemental advantage. New Hall of Trials boss Zeno, we'll check him out when he drops. Drop rate up for Kisa. And a new artifact, doesn't look super interesting. Effectiveness and a 25% chance to get a speed boost for 1 turn. 50% at max. And it's still 35% effectiveness. But I think the main thing we've all been waiting for, Japanese media pack update. That's right, we can have our favorite characters in Japanese language. It's quite epic. And here are all the heroes that will have their Japanese voice. I think there are some missing, but apparently not that many. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the update coming. We haven't even gotten to the heroes yet. Yeah, we got Roana and Sinful Angelica. I think we're gonna start with Sinful Angelica actually. She looks really cute. Check out her animation real quick.
It's time to tear them to.
There is quite a lot of backstory to her, and I thought it was pretty interesting. But let's go ahead and get to her skill kit. I recommend you just watch the video if you're interested. But yeah, let's take a look at those stats first of all. Dark Soul Weaver, to be expected. Actually quite fast for a Soul Weaver at 108 speed. Health is a bit on the low side for a Soul Weaver. Oh yeah, true, I wouldn't have noticed that if he hadn't said. She starts with 30% effect resistance, and she can get 23.8% more through concentration. And then consider pairing her with someone like Elena. She's going to keep her buffs, and that's going to be important later when we check out her skill set. So yeah, skill 3 just gives her immortality and attack and speed to everyone else besides her. The immortality is cool, but that'll play a much bigger part later when we check out her other skills. So here's the thing. Soul Harvest. When she's immortal, enemies can't be revived. That's the main thing. Your allies will get healed a bit when you kill an enemy, but that's the main thing. It's basically just like having passive Lilibet on your team without needing Lilibet there. That is, if I understand everything correctly, but I mean, that's what it says. When she's immortal, enemies can't be revived. And if you give her enough effect resistance, she's going to keep that immortality, even through something like a Bazaar ult, because, you know, when you're on the attack, the defending Bazaar can't soul burn, obviously. And her skill 1 is honestly surprisingly good as well. So it's actually higher than usual chance to decrease attack for a turn, but again, when she's immortal, she'll trigger a dual attack from the ally with the highest attack, very similar to Tamarin's basic attack when she's in idle form. And yeah, that's pretty much her skill set. She sounds super interesting, so in addition to her memory concentration, you'd have to dump a lot of effect resistance in there to make sure that immortality doesn't get removed. She does seem more focused towards PvP, but also I think she can be used somewhat well in PvE too. So yeah, she'll be on the next Mystic summon rotation. Yeah, of course, she sounds really good. You know, she has that attack and speed buff, two really good buffs for like a lot of content. Anti-revive. It is definitely very PvP oriented, but damn, that does sound very nice. You basically just have to get that immortality to start, pump her full of effect resistance so she keeps it, and it's like there's no revivers on that team pretty much. So yeah, it's pretty insane. Also, of course, ML Vildreds. What are you doing? You're not reviving. Let's go ahead and check out Rowana as well. Look at that ult first of all.
May the holy light save us all.
Kind of reminded me of Sailor Moon a little bit. We've definitely seen her a few times before. 5-star Earth Soul Weaver. Better health, of course. She's a 5-star. Still nothing special. Quite low speed, but again, that's pretty typical for Soul Weavers. And yeah, when I was reading her skill too, this definitely seemed like the main thing about her. So she basically does an AoE heal every time you get one of those like RNG attacks on you. Extra attacks, counter attacks, dual attacks, and will increase combat readiness of all allies by 5% each per attacked ally. And so Rowana here is actually a pretty big counter to SSB finally, because not only will it heal all of her allies when she does that counter and basically hopefully, depending on the heal amount, nullify that damage, but also 5% combat readiness per attacked ally for everyone. That's crazy. Yes, this was my first thought as well. It's very effective against enemies that rely on counterattacks. So those spammy counter teams, that was my very first thought when I read this skill too. And that seems to be true. We can actually see SSB's counter here. And look at that. Healed a lot. That was like a 5,000 heal almost for everyone. That is incredible. And then yeah, her skill 3 is pretty basic. Just gives revive to everyone for 2 turns. Basic obviously doesn't mean bad. It's just that also with Sinful Angelica coming really depends on the pacing of a given battle. And then on S1, she can give a barrier to someone with basic attack. You can also soul burn it to give a barrier to everyone. That's pretty crazy for a basic attack, I would say. There's really not much else to say about it, but it does sound quite good. We'll also have a new artifact coming along with her. Again, it sounds pretty simple, up to 10% AoE healing when she is attacked. Only up to once per turn though, and this is proportional to the target's max health, not her max health. So of course for higher HP teams, it's going to be a lot better than for a bunch of squishy teams with just her thrown in there as the healer. So I think out of the two, Rowana is the more interesting one for me. Angelica definitely does seem nice. It just feels like there are some things that can go wrong, whereas like Rowana seems more like secure. You can basically just throw her in there and, you know, and you're going to be healing on those counters only once per turn, so like super spammy teams might still kind of be able to out damage maybe. I mean, ultimately it kind of depends. Like if there's a bunch of reviving and like Vildreds and stuff, then ML Angelica would be better. And then if there's like a, you know, Charles SSB team, whatever, then Rowana would be better. Hell, maybe throw both of them in there. I don't know. These are just my first impressions. That's what I kind of think about them initially. Make sure to tell me what you think though in the comments down below. Leaving a like if you enjoy is always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks as always for watching, and until next time.